This is Fraud to Fearless.
Friends, you are made for more purpose, more confidence, more impact. Because when you live fearless, you inspire others to do the same.
Let's go!
All right, y'all. Work shouldn't suck, but sometimes it does. That's the series. We thought that for this episode, we wanted to get a little bit more practical. So we're going to have some fun here at the beginning. Brooke and I have both made a list of like funny things that we hate about work. And then we're going to get into some more application and talk about some of the things that for those of you working in corporate America, your 9 to 5, or running your own business, if you work with people, what are things that really make work feel like it sucks sometimes? And with those common problems that people experience, what are some tools that Brooke and I have used to overcome some of those challenges about work?
Okay, I want to hear your list first, Hayden, because you said funny things. We're doing this live. Like, I haven't read Hayden's whole list. He doesn't know all of mine unless you peeked. But yeah, I want to hear yours first, and we'll
Okay.
see if mine changes as we go.
Okay. So kind of my funny list of things with work sometimes. So lately, I've been spending a ton of time in Excel with hundreds of columns of data and hundreds of thousands of rows and so many different files open. When Excel crashes, Brooke, I am not a happy person. And generally what happens is it sits and spins and you get the pop-up that says, close the program now or wait for it to respond. And I don't want to lose all my work, so I always wait for it to respond, Brooke, and it never works. So I have to hit
No.
close everything, and then you have to do the recovery. So anyway, I hate that.
Technology is the worst when it doesn't work and it's like crucial to your job. That's what keeps me. Something that should take 5 minutes and it's midnight will take me until 2 if the technology's not working.
It is so frustrating. I, for those of you listening, you can relate with this, but just email etiquette. So I personally don't love when people overuse the phrase ASAP. So as soon as possible, all caps. When you
Am I
send
gonna
an
get called
email,
out in here?
do you say ASAP a lot?
I don't know. I think I do. And maybe
Oh,
not to you, but I think I'm like, no, I say SOS a lot. But continue.
okay. Yeah, ASAP. So if you send me an email, I don't love it when it says ASAP. So, or Brooke, have you had this where someone they flag every email high importance? Like every email. It's like, is it just defaulted that every time you hit send, it's flagged? It's like high importance to me is like you're hitting the nuke button, like that stop everything and do this immediately. So I've had folks that have literally flagged every single email high importance. I just want to delete it
Because
after you get the theme, it's like, delete. If it's really important, you'll send it again.
I know that's hilarious because then you start to not trust them, right? You're like, is it really high importance? No, I thought that where you were gonna go with the email thing is there's personality types with emails, right? Like there's those people that send emails that it's paragraphs.
Mm.
I'm one of those people. Like paragraphs, like all the details of every single thing. And I like put tons of questions. I try to make it really easy, Hayden. So I'll like do a paragraph, then I'll like label all of my questions because I want them all answered because it's so annoying when you have all these questions and then someone emails back one line and they only answer one question. You're like, I had 17 questions in there. So there's like, personality types of people that respond with one word or paragraphs and paragraphs and everything in between.
So I used to be like you. I used to have your opinion and then of like the one word email. requests, but Brooke, some of the big like senior leaders I've worked for, like I had a previous boss who most of the emails I would get either said, okay, all lowercase, THX, or copy, all lowercase. And at first, it was an adjustment for me because I I viewed the briefness as not being pleased with my email or like my performance, and that was a misread. That's just what this leader does, and I actually really appreciated it, and now I kind of do it sometimes. I'll like capitalize T and spell out thanks, but I try and make emails short if possible.
As you grow, right? As you grow, or you just do not have the time, then it adjusts. So this will be good to talk about because it's kind of like a learn it's I think some of these things are based off of people and like relationships in the workplace, but also some of them are like, okay, maybe we should change how we do this certain thing. Okay,
Yeah, so that's the email
emails.
one. I like really dislike when, so in corporate America, what we spend our time and focus on is what gets results. And so at Honeywell, we call it MOS. So essentially, like your management operating system. But essentially, it's just like how you're spending your time. And so a lot of times on a team, that likely includes a weekly staff meeting, normally like a monthly operations review. You'll have consistent reviews with like your business leaders if you're client facing. And I hate when there's recurring meetings that happen at the same time every week, and either they get moved more often than they don't, or people like show up late. And
Mm.
what, Brooke, is your, so in college, there was the 15-minute professor late window, right? Where it's like if the professor was more than 15 minutes late, you could bounce. And if the professor came back later, there could be no repercussions of you not being at class.
Yeah, that
What
accountability.
what is your window joining a call? How long do you wait before you're like, nope, I have other things to do? And
I know. Well, we've done this on our meetings. I feel called out. I'll
so
be like
this week, y'all, honestly, Brooke, I had no intentions of calling you out for this, but y'all, this week we have a weekly call on Wednesdays.
oh
Brooke and I, that we like,
gosh.
and I was on that call for like 19 minutes. Like,
I'm sorry. And usually if I'm gonna be late, I'll like send a message or I'm like something's going wrong or whatever. But yeah, and then I popped on and you weren't there. It said no one's in the call. And so then I had to send you a message. No, I agree that because it's like we all have stuff. We're super busy. So, and especially if it's a pattern of somebody consistently showing up late.
so the recurring
Okay.
meetings is definitely one. I really don't like when folks talk over people.
Mm.
So generally, my experience is I feel like this can be a more common occurrence for men. And in the corporate world, it's also interesting dynamic when two people talk at the same time, because you get on some of these calls and everyone's dialed in. And so like the timing can be a little hard to know when someone's done and when they can start talking. And so the behavior of like when two leaders are on a big call and they start talking at the same time of, no, you go ahead, no, you go ahead. Sometimes they just both keep talking. And so that to me is just like, this isn't productive, y'all. Like, just one at a
Yeah.
time, you know? So I don't like that. Or if a leader or someone is like driving the call, like owning the call, just not inviting other people to share their opinion, like not providing a space that feels welcome for others to share. And in some cases, people might need to be asked to give their feedback. So I don't love not warm environments.
These are good.
Um, how about this one, Brooke? I said, have you ever like wanted to leave a little early from the office and like beat the traffic and you're like, is my boss still here? Or uh your boss will say, "Oh, I work all the time, but I don't expect you to." But then they're like sending you emails or like IMs
Yes.
late at night.
Late at night, like a million of them, and like questions to you, and you're just like feeling the pressure. Oh,
Yeah, that's another big one. And then I think sometimes uh every leader's different, but like working on vacation or, just like joining a call on vacation, just like you should
that's a weird
enjoy.
standard,
Yeah, you
right?
should enjoy your vacation. And then the last one I put, Brooke, is I hate duplicate work. So I've had a couple of examples where I get asked a question from someone, and that person has asked someone else the exact same question in a different email. It's like, is this a test? Or like, I don't want to respond to your email. It just feels weird. Why couldn't we
Yeah.
all be on one chat and like one person could be accountable? So
To
like it's like a lack of understanding roles and responsibilities that really bugs me with duplicate work. Hey y'all, real quick. If you know of someone that would benefit from this message that you're hearing today, take a minute and send it to them. So often we think of somebody, we miss someone, we're impressed by someone, maybe we even love somebody, and we don't tell them. Let's not fall under that trap. Let's hold each other accountable, take a few moments, and send this episode to someone that would benefit. Let's do it, and let's do it fearlessly. All right, back to the pod.
ooh, these are good. It's almost like these unwritten things that happen. There's not a rule book for it necessarily, but there's like weird norms that go into it. And how do you even bring this stuff up, right? In
Yeah.
regular day-to-day conversations?
Brooke, why don't you share? Let's hear your list now.
I think when I felt the most stuck in work and that like things just were dragging, I felt like there weren't really opportunities. So for example, I felt like I was already capped out, like, at the ceiling, or the people around me hadn't been promoted, like, had been in the same role for, like, over a decade. Um, it didn't feel like the leadership was really investing in me, or just a lack like, the second one was lack of fulfillment in general. So, like, I'm working super hard on all of this stuff, but does this stuff even matter? Like, is
Mm,
it just gonna be in a year, they're gonna get a new shiny program and, like, all of this stuff is just gonna be trashed? Um,
that's a big one, Brooke. I think the first one, like feeling stuck with no opportunities, that is very real. Like in my career, I've felt that way at certain point. What's interesting in corporate America is I feel like there are naturally barriers in growing your career. So like for me, in corporate America lingo, different roles have like a different salary band, right? And so there's like kind of early career, then there's like kind of management, like middle career, then you start getting into bigger jobs with like director, senior director, and then there's E band executives. Any band change generally is a barrier to, prove that you are qualified and talented enough to take on more jobs. And that is an interesting dynamic to go through in your career because I've worked for Honeywell now 7.5, 8 years. I've had like 13, 14 different managers in that time, and everyone's different. And I think, Brooke, what's hard is at the end of the day, you're really the only person that truly is uh, focused and prioritizing your career. You can have a mentor, you can have a leader, there can be someone that really wants to take care of you, but they could leave to another company. They could leave to another part of like completely leave the company, go somewhere else. move to another job or another function in the same company and totally
Mhm.
forget about you, or not have the political power to bring you on in that job. And so, like, navigating those no opportunities is a really challenging time. What have you done when you've been in those situations?
I mean, I didn't know what to do. Like, you're talking about the first question, right?
Yeah.
The feeling stuck with no opportunities? Man, in that situation, I think at first I was in denial. I
Yeah.
was like, "This is such a great opportunity. I'm learning all this stuff." Like, my team in general is like, I have a great team, like, I like the people, and I don't know that much, like, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
The hope like, you know this, I have an endless optimism about these things. But there's a point when you have to look at the reality of the situation. I just realized, okay, we have like 15 people on this team. The majority have worked here for like 8 to 10 years, and they're either only one level above me or they're my same level. If I think that like my snazzy personality and my like drive and my everything is going to get me promoted above these people that have been working here for 10 years in this role. Given and there's so much context that goes into this, right? But like I'm a little bit delusional, right? There's got to be some kind of change. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible because in every organization there are different things that happen, right? Depending on how your organization is structured, how things are rewarded, how long people have been there, what everything. There's so much that goes into it. But for me personally, it was like a wake up call of, okay, if you actually want to have more opportunities, it's not going to happen here. Like maybe you could come back, but you've got to do something else to come back because just sitting here is not going to help with your growth or give you more opportunities as you're just waiting for them to be assigned to you.
Yeah. I think that's right. I mean, that's what I've done too. When I have felt stuck, it's how can I change this? Like, can can I go work for another company? Do I have more opportunities? And so I think the advice for feeling stuck with no opportunities, for those of you listening that feel this, the advice is know what options you have. But I would also challenge too that businesses are cyclical, right? We're all trying to make the quarter, make the month, make the quarter, make the year. Businesses go through cycles where they grow, and there are also cycles where, external variables, right? Like tariffs is a big thing right now, with kind of what's happening politically. Um, but there's going to be good times and bad times. And so sometimes you got to be patient. So I think just understanding your options is really helpful when you feel stuck. And then the last thing I would say, Brooke, is talk about it. Like, talk to your manager about that,
Don't
talk
keep
to
it
your
in.
mentors. Don't deal with it by yourself, because I think a lot of times people think my manager should just know what I want to do next. I don't really know what I want to do, but like they should know. I just want to make more money. And it's like, no, you kind of have to lead the horse to water. You have to tell them what you want and give an idea of how you could take on a bigger role and how you could add value. So,
So that's scary, and I didn't do that, right? I left. I left to a different
yeah,
team. I never communicated it because I was too afraid. I was too afraid to actually say what I wanted. And so
yeah,
I think being able to identify, okay, first of all, my foot has outgrown my shoe. It hurts. If you feel stuck, that's an indicator that you've probably outgrown. There's pain points in there that need to be addressed. If you just keep your foot in the same shoe, you're going to cause a lot of damage. You're ready for a new opportunity, but communicating it. Or, what's my issue? Am I communicating it? Do I need to go somewhere else? I went to a different team.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's not a right or wrong answer. I think the
there's not.
metaphor plays well. I would also say that if you're in general, I would say managers should want what is best for you. And so if you are like how Brooke was, sharing how you're feeling and like helping them identify that you want more will help them like endorse you and help. If you get promoted to bigger things, that is a positive reflection on that manager as well. Like at
Mhm.
Honeywell, we call it being a talent scout. Everyone's a talent scout. And managers that have folks get elevated while they are working for them, that is a very positive thing. Now, that doesn't mean every manager is like that, but I think it would be, I would challenge you to have that discussion if you are afraid, because I think it would be a really good experience for you and help you have good dialogue with your leader.
Yeah. So I think reflecting back now, because I was young in my career, and so I was just afraid to have conversations like that. I didn't know how to. I thought I was going to get in trouble. So I think um, coming up with, well, what would give me more opportunities, or what am I drawn towards? And
Yeah.
so the reason why I felt stuck was because I wasn't doing things that I was leading into the second question, which is a lack of fulfillment. I wasn't doing or developing in the way that I wanted to. That the things that I was naturally drawn towards. I wanted to speak. I
Yeah.
wanted to get with people and like talk to them. And I was stuck behind looking at data all day and running reports and like analyzing things. And so I think saying, okay, well, I don't see how this fits in with my current job. Like, how can I speak? But maybe there's a certification that I can go get, or I
Mm.
could volunteer. I know that this group in my organization has more speaking opportunities, or this, like, could I be in charge of presenting? Just get creative. And how does that feel when you think of that idea? And you write all those ideas down. Does that change things? Does it feel like you have more opportunities, you're developing that muscle or not? And then proceed from there.
Brooke, one question I have for you is maybe transitioning a little bit. A lot of the discussion has focused a lot about corporate America, but you've left and now you're running your own business, running your own podcast. Um, what are some things in your business that makes work suck?
It literally, it all comes back to me. It all comes back to me. It's like, I mean, there's stuff with technology where you're just like, I don't know the difference between RAM and memory and all this computer stuff. But then all of a sudden my computer's not working because I'm running all these programs and high 4K video, and like my computer's shutting down. I'm like, I do not have time for this thing to not be working. So, I mean, there's the obvious stuff like that, but I think there's so much that needs to be done, and realizing I am the bottleneck in this. And oh my goodness, uh how do I what comes first, the chicken or the egg kind of a situation?
Yeah, I think one reflection I've had this week is really when you're an entrepreneur, the results of your business is so correlated with the founder and like what they're thinking and how they're feeling and where their heart is in that week. Like there are sometimes, Brooke, when you and I get set to record and it is just like we're overflowing with motivation and energy. And then there's other times when it's like, hey, Hayden, you don't look really good. Like I think you're ready to be done, man. Like and I imagine that is so real, Brooke, because like just on the entrepreneur side, and even if you're corporate America, but just navigating life, like I think what's hard about work is it really, in a lot of ways, has a monopoly on time and energy spent, either like thought power, but then also actual time. So if you're working a 9 to 5, it's really much more than that. I mean, really, it's like 8 to 5 now. Not, I don't get to start my day at 9 o'clock, but it's got a nice ring to it, like 6, 7, whatever that thing is. Um, but it really has a monopoly on our time and our thought, like our brain power. And so, but to just get ready to go to the office, Brooke, it's just like you got to commute, you got to get your lunch ready, you got to, for those that got to get kiddos ready for school or daycare, and then you got to go pick them up. It's just so when work sucks and it's just like your whole gravity of your life is surrounded, it's really surrounding what you do from 8 to 5. And when that sucks, then it's like, what am I doing?
That's
That's
a
when it
big
like,
impact on your life.
totally. That's when it feels like, oh, let's just do the same thing again. Let's just do the grind. Like, I'm only doing this to get a paycheck, but you're missing purpose. And so I think, look, I started out saying a whole bunch of kind of funny things of why work sucks. And now we're kind of talking a little bit, Brooke, about things that are hard for you in your business. But I think just as you reflect on this discussion, make sure the trap that I don't want you to fall into if you're listening is you can change this. And there's not necessarily a one size fits all on what that change is. You could start your own business, you could leave to another job, but I think we need to recognize that sometimes work is going to suck.
And we can be innovative with these
Mm.
solutions because sometimes the belief is like, this is just how it is. This is just how it's going to be. You know, given X, Y, and Z things, the job market, the company structure, the work assignments that I've been given, my the one that I've heard so much that has impacted all of us, right? And even our lifestyle is I started out working in compensation. And so and understanding deeply like how are people paid? How do we price a job? What is the value of work that's being done? And that's really hard in and of itself because it's like, man, well, if my values, and then I hear that Joe over here is making X amount and I'm working my butt off and like make way less, how does that, the lack of appreciation that people feel.
There's something that when you were saying that just reminded me of what I think is interesting, Brooke, about what you just said is I think this podcast is really exciting because it brings two worlds together. It brings hopefully a lot of worlds together, but it really brings like the entrepreneur side of like you are a hunter and you are like going after, I know you hate that metaphor, but it's just like I just love it. Like you are tip of the spear, you go and you got to get your dinner, like you're a hunter. And on the corporate America side, it can feel like that's the steady Eddie. Like, just, I know my paycheck is going to come every 2 weeks because there's this big mother corporation that's been around for 100 years that is just like going to keep paying me for doing the job. But, Brooke, what's fascinating is those two experiences, the psychology around accountability and ownership of employees is completely different. Like the motivation of an entrepreneur is this is mine. Like if I don't do it, I'm not going to make money and I'm not getting paid. But on the corporate America side, it is like passive. Like just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like just give me a book of instructions and I'll do it. But you miss the part of even if you're in corporate America, you can be an entrepreneur behavior wise. Like you can own your
The
role.
entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes.
This is good. Can we dive into this?
Yeah.
Can we dive into this? Because I think this is so important. I think this is actually what can bring so much fulfillment, even if you're like, I have no desire to be an entrepreneur.
Yep.
And like, I love I love my corporate job. I love my team. I love all the stuff. I think this is the key. I'm so glad that you brought this up because so right now I've had around 9 interns that I've worked with over a couple of semesters and that have come to help me with my business. It's been so interesting to see the different personality types that come in. A lot of them, they're students, right? Like maybe this is their first internship or they've had just different jobs. Um, but when they come into a startup environment, I'm like, look, this is the wild, wild west. Like we have to make decisions and I need somebody to come and partner with me. The people that are the most successful in my mind that I'm like, this is a high performer and that I can tell they're fulfilled and they're like excited and they're learning and all this stuff is they they take that ownership. Like they take a piece and say, this is mine. And I'm gonna like build this. And I'll come back. I'll say, hey, like here's some things that we need to figure out. And then one of my interns came back and was like, oh yeah, I drove up to Ogden, which is like an hour away, and figured out this thing with a manufacturer. And I'm like, you did? Like what? And so uh like you said, not waiting to be told what to do or like, here's what my job description says. And am I doing all of these things? But saying, okay, how can I be the leader of my job and owning it? Like it just brings such a breath of fresh air and like excitement when you actually feel like you can own it.
Yeah. It's an interesting transition because what you're going through as an entrepreneur right now, right? At the beginning, you're just a one woman army and it's literally just grind, survival, late nights. Like, I need a logo. Okay. I can't sleep until the logo's done. Like, oh, I need a mission statement, whatever. Okay. I can't sleep, whatever. Um, but now
We're trying to get away from the not sleep part.
I know,
We're
I'm not
trying to
trying
hold
to
boundaries
reminisce it.
on
I'm
that.
just saying, like, that's where you were, and now you're
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
position now that you're growing and gaining momentum and building traction. Now it's, all right, I've got the foundation here. I've got clients, I've got a following, I'm making money, but it's like now I need to start outsourcing some of the things. I can't do everything. Like, I'm spending all of my time on the business that I'm not spending any of my time on the business, like growing the business. You're doing the tactical, not the strategic, which means you need to outsource help to others, but that requires time and training and selection. And then eventually, once you get that up, then it's going to be how can I scale it even more, right? And so, like the different layers of being an entrepreneur from survival to starting to train others to starting to scale and make like a large corporation, that is the same in corporate America. At the beginning, it's just survival, trying to learn how to do stuff. Then you start to learn how to like influence people and like actually supervise their work. And then it's about leading an organization. And it's like, oh, well, now I'm a people leader of people leaders, not just a people leader of doers. I need to teach them how to do what I used to do when I was a people leader of individuals. And so, but like the career trajectory of corporate America and being an entrepreneur is quite similar. But I think what's interesting is just that ownership piece. And if you're in the corporate America world, being able to understand how the work that you're doing is actually contributing to the bottom line and like actually driving business results, that is powerful. That to me is business acumen, and it's showing someone who's bringing that entrepreneur mindset to corporate America. And if that's the case and you aren't fulfilled, maybe it's time you start your own business. As we look to wrap it up here, I think, okay, so what? Like, all right, what's the if there's one takeaway we want you to have, it's one, I think this series is just going to highlight, and we're about to hear, we've got a great episode coming to finish this series off with a big leader who's going to help us talk a little bit more about, work shouldn't suck, but and we're going to talk about some practical application of, the big things that why work sucks and how you can overcome that. But I think for this discussion, it's really one understanding that no matter what your job is, work is going to suck, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in corporate America. And then I really think, Brooke, for me, the takeaway is entrepreneur mindset. Whatever you do will help you navigate when work sucks. And so if you're in corporate America and you're in the grind, or you don't like your manager, or you're not feeling fulfilled, having that entrepreneur mindset and being innovative to solutions, or finding ways to do side gigs, or like, side projects that help you get exposure to what you want. Or if you're an entrepreneur and you're like, you know what? I need to start getting sleep at night. I need to up level my business. I need to start outsourcing work to either folks that work for me, or, finding ways that you can spend to actually grow your business. And I really think having this, like, I'm the owner, I'm accountable, I'm responsible. Even if other people in corporate America are telling me what to do, having an entrepreneur mindset will help you navigate when work sucks.
Yeah. And, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, can we change that phrase? Can we change the phrase of work shouldn't suck? Like, but, and flip it to say, this is hard, but it's molding me. And this situation, this opportunity, this tool that keeps breaking over and over again is so annoying. And now it's giving me an opportunity to change it. So if you're stuck in the suck, keep moving forward. You're not meant to stay there. It's there for a reason. You're feeling it for a reason. Don't deny it. Don't be delusional thinking it will just magically disappear. Say, I'm feeling this pain for a reason. Now, how am I going to change it? What am I going to do?
Yeah. And just recognize that you're getting experience. And I think that that has been a theme so far in season 2, Brooke, is instead of thinking, oh, this sucks, it's okay. I don't really love this right now. I don't really love this season of work right now, or my role right now, but I'm getting experience that's going to make me a better leader. I'm getting experience that's going to make me a better entrepreneur, and I'm going to learn from this experience. So when you're stuck in the suck, keep moving forward. All right, y'all, that's the pod.